Hi VC, I'm back to do another post. I've been away for a while. Apologies for my absence, but in the interim, I've managed to pick up quite a stack of stuff, which I will be showing shortly. I'd like to start by saying, first of all, a big shout out to Mike Bastoni and Reggie. There's me Liverpool top, and there's Ben's Liverpool top. Keep the hope alive, Mike. Hopefully, Everton can do us a big favour on Saturday, and that we can kick on from there. But it's a shame that to see us falter so late in the game. So we've been waiting a long time for this, haven't we? So keep hope alive, and hopefully things will turn out for us. Come on, the pool. Okay, first of all, lads, I'd like to show some VCLT. I bought a stack of stuff, but it's quite a bit of a door wedge there. But what I'll do is I'll just start off by showing some VCLT that I got that I haven't basically presented before, and I'd like to thank the people that gave me the VCLT. The first one is from Dave. We were down shopping in a local fair about 3 weeks ago, and he kindly picked this piece up for me. He knows I'm a huge folk fan. It was what I was reared on, and I retain my immense attraction to that music. I just love it. It's where I came from. It's where my music interest sprung from, and it prevails to this very day. This one I didn't have. This is basically a compilation, one of the many compilations on Transatlantic. They kind of flogged a dead horse with their with their samplers and compilations. But this one is basically a collection of tracks from Bert Jansch's first 5 or 6 albums, I believe. So this would date this one at around 1973 approximately. It features the seminal track Needle of Death, which basically has been covered to decent enough effect recently by Neil Young and his impending solo album, which he recorded with Jack White. I think it might be called something like A Postcard from the Past or something like that. I know that it's limited copies of it were released on Record Store Day, but there's a general release date coming up very shortly. So thanks again, Dave, for that one. I didn't have it, and I'm a huge folk fan and a huge fan of Bert Jansch, as you know. And fair play to Eagle Eye for spotting that I hadn't this one before. Okay, he also gave me this lovely 12-inch by Beck. This is one of those scandalously expensive import versions that were for sale in HMV that they robbed us with, back in the day. This release would have come from about 1999 or 1998. It's a 12-inch called Sex Laws. It's one of his middling efforts, to be frank, but I'm very glad to get it. You don't see much Beck stuff around, particularly when they're of translucent, minty kind of vinyl. It's a lovely looking package. So thanks again, Dave, for that one. This one is a keeper for sure. Jimmy, the Earl of Suave, gave this one to Ben a while back, and I omitted in my last video to basically thank him for it. Ben and myself are huge Elvis fans. We visited Graceland a while back, and we didn't have this one. This is an original American pressing on RCA called Back in Memphis, and Jimmy kindly housed it in one of those lovely Blake sleeves, which shows off the matte black finish to great effect. But moving up a gear, he also gave me this one. Now, he knows I'm a huge fan of Uncle Tupelo, of Jay Farrer, of Jeff Tweedy, of Sunvolt, of Wilco, of that whole axis. And he got me this one. This is a reissue on Rhino. It's a spectacular album. It's probably their second best after the live one. I didn't have it before. He heard me say that, and what do you know, he went out and he bought it for me. So Jimmy, you're a star. Thank you again, man. I haven't had the chance to publicly thank you for it, but it's a spectacular album. The original date for this would have been 20 years ago. It was issued about 1993, 1994. But a fantastic album. I'm encouraging everyone to check it out. Uncle Tupelo. Okay, some post-punk stuff. Now, it's not something that I'm very familiar with, the post-punk genre, but I've been starting to build an appreciation for it. I researched it quite a bit, and I didn't stray too far from home with my very first splurge into it, and that's by the seminal Irish post-punk crew called Virgin Prunes, of whom Gavin Friday, who I will come to in a second, was a key member. He was one of the two vocalists in this band. The other one was Googie, who is now a celebrated artist. This band featured also members of the family of U2. I think the Edge's brother is a member. He was probably either a bassist or a guitarist. Brett, Life on This Planet blog. I know that you're a huge fan of Gavin Friday and of Virgin Prunes as well. And I was telling you that I picked this one up, and I'll show you an intriguing Gavin Friday release in a few seconds that I know that you will be delighted to see. This is their debut album. It's on Rough Trade, and it's really, really good. I enjoy it hugely. Actually, Mike Bostonian Reggie, I think you may be a fan as well of Virgin Prunes. I think I read or saw comments or something, or maybe even posted a video showing your interest in this band, or maybe you have the 12-inch Pagan Love Song, or for some reason there's some connection between you and Virgin Prunes anyway. Let me know if you are looking for some of their stuff, because it is in decent enough supply here. And if you are looking for any Irish releases, and that goes to you too as well, Brett, of Virgin Prunes, holler at me, and I'm sure I'll be able to sort something out for you guys. So so that's the Virgin Prunes. What are they? They're very subversive art rock, anarchistic outfit that were very flamboyant in their stage show, in their dress, and they're quite gothic as well. They're looking like Bow Wow Wow there in the background. But very groundbreaking, and at the same time they sang quite catchy numbers. I was very impressed with this album actually when I heard it. I picked it up for about €5. They don't go. They're not very expensive to buy, to be honest. The albums are rare enough, but the 12 inches you can pick up decently enough. This one I was very excited to get. I won this in an eBay auction. It's the debut and only 12-inch that was released by a crew called Rema on the 4AD label. This one's called Wheel and the Roses. This is not an original. The originals are very, very expensive and are frankly out of my range. This one features amazing artwork of two tribesmen in the Serengeti or somewhere with a ludicrously painted on rose here. It's a 4-track. It was this track that endeared me to them, Feedback song, which I'm encouraging people to check out on YouTube. It's available there. So side 1 is basically Studio 1. I think it's recorded in stereo, and side 2 is live, and that's recorded in mono. And it's on the 4AD label. Features Marco Perroni, who was a member of Adam and the Ants, a kind of a pop band from the 1980s that I don't remember too fondly, but I do know that they were very big back in the day. Thankfully I avoided them. Okay, moving on. This one I spotted recently. I have volume 1 of this, and I have volume 3 for decades. About 20 years ago I bought, maybe 15 years ago, I bought volume 3, which is very R&B tinged. This is also R&B tinged, but not as R&B tinged as volume 1, which is incredible. I bought volume 1 at Christmas, and now I've happened across volume 2. I've been looking for this one for an absolute age. It's by Guru. Gifted Universal Rhymes, Universal, the sadly departed, wonderful MC that he was. I adore his work, and I was looking for this one for a very long time. And what he did is that he assembled the cream of R&B singers, both male and female. I know Jamiroquai are there. I know DC Lee, Paul Weller's missus is on it as well. And the cream of jazz musicians, the drummer Bernard Purdy, Donald Byrd is on it, Ramsey Lewis, Hubbard, Jamiroquai, as I said, is on it. So Big Shug is on it actually as well, the rap star. So there's quite a cast on this one. I got this in the most unlikely of places. You wouldn't believe where I got it, in a bookshop, secondhand bookstore. They do sell LPs, but this one is so out of kilter with what they generally sell that I almost fainted when I saw it. I couldn't believe it. I'm delighted to get it. It's not as good as Volume 1. It's a double album. The Jamiroquai track is quite good actually. I remember it from back in the day, called Lost Souls, and I particularly like the track Respect the Architect. But really, really good stuff. I'm encouraging people to have a listen to it. But if they can, go for Volume 1. and then Volume 2. Don't bother with Volume 3. Volume 3 is not that great, to be honest, and it comes with a nice insert as well, basically of the acts that are in it. So yeah, so that's Guru's Jazzmatazz. Okay, moving on. Derek, the VC member, I'm still bigging on this, Derek. I absolutely love this release, and I saw recently you've had a recent upsurge in sales, which delights me to no end, I must say. I'm thrilled for you. It's a fantastic release, both aesthetically and musically, and it looks amazing in this Blake sleeve that I've housed it in. Like everyone else, it's track 3, which is either called Fate or Fair. It might be called Fate, I think. I'm not quite sure. The R looks like a T, but I don't know. Or should I say the T looks like an R? Really, really strong release, Derek, and congratulations to you. And I look forward to acquainting myself with the rest of your collection. I'm going to look at buying another piece if I can very, very shortly. So I'll be in touch with you. So congratulations again. Okay, and another VC shout out. This one is to Chris, John Coltrane, 68, over in, I think he's from Chicago. I'm on the White Sox. I used to be a huge fan of the White Sox when I lived in Chicago back in the day. I used to live in Palos Heights, which is kind of a suburb of Chicago. But Pure Poke, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's on Love Records. Chris, you showed this, and the other Chris, that's Chris in Switzerland, who's got a fantastic channel as well. That's Chris 4127 Basket or something like that. He's got a fantastic channel as well, and he jumped on this one too. It's an amazing album. It's kind of jazzy prog with folk tinges to it. Lovely icy sound to it. I'll see if I can play. I've queued up a track here. Just play a few seconds of it so you can get a feel for it. Yeah, this is a track we're listening to. I can't pronounce it, but it might have something to do with a church. Okay, so that's that particular release, Pure Polke, Finnish crew on the Love Records label, and thanks for Chris for showing that one. I had never heard of it before, and I would certainly not have heard it if it wasn't for you guiding me in their direction. So thanks again. Really enjoying this one. I'm a huge fan of Embryo, and I tracked this one down because I decided to look at everything else that Charlie Mariano released, and I came across this one. I saw Wolfgang Downer. I knew that he had done some stuff with ECM. I know Tony Fartboy has shown some of his stuff, and I think Derek has as well. Derek, you've shown ECM 1. I think ECM 1 is Wolfgang Downer's one, the one with the light bulb. But I saw this one and I thought, what an amazing cover. It's on a label I've never heard of before called Mood Records. I had to listen to a few tracks on YouTube, and I said, fuck, man, I have to go for this one. And so I queued this one up a while back, and I got it last week. I absolutely adore it. It's an amazing mood piece. In particular, the title track, Meditation on a Landscape, is just exceptional. You know, it just snakes. You know, it's a real serpentine track, very lazy track. You know, it coils and uncoils and recoils, and it just takes you places. Beautiful, beautiful hypnotic piece. I'll give it a little spin now. 1 second. Oh, how amazing, how reflective is that? Beautiful piece. And talk about reflective pieces, my God. This guy, Bobby Hutcherson, just knocks me out. I'm searching for his album Head On. I'm not going to get it on vinyl. I'm going to get it on CD because there's some amazing additional tracks on it. A couple of jazz fusion numbers whose names I can't rightly remember, but they all clock in around the 15 to 20 minute mark. It kind of features him with a beanie hat. It might even be the same hat as he wore in this release. It was certainly the succeeding release to Cirrus. But this one is on Blue Note. Bobby Hutcherson, the Vise player. I know Hubert Laws is in this one, I think, is he? Is he or isn't he? No, he isn't actually. Apologies. I thought he was on it. But a gorgeous album. Really, really gorgeous album. In particular, the track Even Later is just a stunning piece of work. Another moody, reflective masterpiece. And I'll just cue a few seconds of that too so you can get a handle on it. Look at that for a smile. Mike, Bostoni and Reggie, me and you, man, will be smiling just like that when we win the league in 2 weeks. Okay, some lovely more jazz finds as well. I've two coming up now from Sonny Rollins. This is an original UK first press on the Esquire label. I found it in the same shop that sold me the Guru one. I couldn't believe it when I saw this one as well. This was the only other release that they had in the store of merit. This one is really, really good as well. Fucking, it's one of the it's one of the pillar releases in all of jazz. Max Roach on drums, Tommy Flanagan. It's the original English version of it. It's called Saxophone Colossus. I better move on now to 16 minutes. And that's the label there. Esquire, I know all you label freaks will want to see that. Okay, and the second release I got by Sonny Rollins is an original on Impulse. This is a Japanese imprint. I always loved the kind of the oil painting work that was done on this one. And this one is incredible free jazz. An amazing track. The title track, East Broadway Rundown, is just ridiculous. The closing 4 to 5 minutes, I've never in my life heard anything like it. It's just so cacophonous. The drumming, the interplay between them, everything is just stellar in this one. It didn't come with an Obi strip, but it is a full-on Japanese release, first issue on Impulse. Jimmy Garrison plays in this one as well. Okay, so that's that one. I was really happy to get that one. I got that one at the fair that I was at with Dave. I also picked up this one by Sonny Stitt with brother Jack McDuff. It's a comp of basically tracks of the few sessions that they had together. This one is on Prestige. It's an American original on Green Prestige. Very happy to get that too. This is a lovely acoustic jazz one as well on the Enya label by Jeremy Steig, the flautist, and Eddie Gomez, the bass player. It's called Outlaws. Lovely, lovely release as well. There's a Miles Davis track on this one called Nardis. I'm not sure what album that comes from, so you might enlighten me. And that's a little drawing in the back by one of the guys. Jeremy Steig drew it. But a lovely album as well, Outlaws. Then I saw this one, and this one I've been looking at for a bit. I hadn't heard any of the tracks on it. It's by Keith Jarrett, the pianist. It's a solo effort called Death and the Flower, but the title intrigued me enormously. It sounded like a Hemingway novel, doesn't it? Death and the Flower. So there's a flower in its glory and post-apocalyptic flower at the back of it. But a lovely album on Impulse. I haven't listened to it yet, but I got it for a really, really decent price, and I'm looking forward to having a spin on that one recently. I know Jarrett is hit and miss. Unfortunately, someone wrote their name in it, and there's a bit of cover wear there damage, but it just looks glorious, doesn't it? Okay, some lovely jazz funk pieces as well. I was after this one for a huge amount of time. Victor Feldman, In My Pocket. This one is on Coherent Sound, and it sounds absolutely spectacular. An incredibly funky album. The track of note here is the one after my daughter. My daughter's name is Ruby. This one's called Ruby Jubilation. Really, really good. Check that one out, folks. Okay, Donald Byrd, I'm in a huge kick with his stuff. This one is one of the Mazel Brother releases. This is called Places and Spaces, not to be confused with the Willie Nelson album of approximately the same name. I think that's called Phases and Stages, but this is called Places and Spaces. And it's on Blue Note. This one is an American issue on it. There's some great dance tracks on this, like really, really great stuff. Wow. Change, great track. Really, really great track. Just My Imagination, great track as well. But lovely album now. I'm looking forward for this to get this one for quite some time. I bought it from America and I got it for a really good price. Okay, Isaac Hayes, IKs, I'm a big fan of too. I was missing this piece. This is one of his soundtracks from Blaxploitation movie called Truck Turner. It's a gatefold sleeve. Is it a double album? Yeah, it's a double. Yeah, it's a double album. It's a great track and it's called Pimp Mobile. What's it called again? I think it's called Pimp Mobile. Yeah, Pursuit of the Pimp Mobile. But I'm not quite sure about the look, Ike. The open button here is a bit gay to me. Particularly when you're holding a big unholstered gun like that. But really good. Got this one for €5. I was looking for it for a long time. Leon Thomas on Flying Dutchman. This is a comp. I don't normally go for comps, but you don't see Leon Thomas's stuff anywhere ever, particularly in this country. So when I saw it, I just grabbed it with both hands and legged out of there as quick as I could. Lovely gatefold sleeve, which unfortunately is a cutout here. So there's the great yodeler himself. It's a compilation of tracks. There's Cecil McBee features in a lot of these tracks, and really good stuff. Facets. That's the Creators of Master Plan. That's the one that was on Karma, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that was on the Karma album, as far as I remember. Okay, I got this one at the fair as well, an original in Strata East, Gil Scott Heron and Brian Jackson, Winter in America. I was looking for this one for a long time too. I eventually got it. Didn't come cheap. I think it was about €25, maybe more, maybe $27.50. Did not come cheap, but I'm glad to get it. A small bit of ringwear on it, which you can't really see from this light, but take my word for it, there's a good bit of ringwear on that particular release. Okay, now moving on, and this is perhaps the most exciting of the releases that I got aesthetically, certainly, if not musically, and it's by the artist Gavin Friday, the Irish God. What is he? He's everything really. He's the real traditional Irish Jew, if you want to put it that way. His music it's avant-garde, it's rock, it's balladry, it's instrumental. There's folkish elements in it. Great singer-songwriter as well when he wants to be. A very provocative kind of a bloke. In this one here, this is basically the vinyl reissue of it. It's issued on a limited run of 500. They're all hand signed and hand numbered by Gavin himself. This was released on CD 2 years ago, and it features very provocative imagery, which is intended to ape the deathbed scene for the Irish patriot Michael Collins from the War of Independence in 1921 or 22. In military garb. But the album is called Catholic, and he's got his tricolour, so that's intended to ape Michael Collins's coffin scene. So there he's been made up for it. A lovely. This one's a treble album, and it comes in green, white, and gold. Gavin wouldn't be Gavin without having controversy, and he courts it to a big degree on this album, because there. On this number 6, we have In All Its Glory, A Dog's Bollocks. But a beautifully sounding album. Jimmy Suave, I picked up a copy of this for you as well, and I know that you've had to listen to it too, and that you're very impressed with it. Certainly, it's a very lavish package. There's 6 pages with Gavin loves iconography, and it's all there for everyone to see. But I love this particular portrait here, which is intended to mock up the big fella Michael Collins again. He's looking very redoubtable there, isn't he? And there's his signature on it, and they're all individually signed and numbered by Gavin himself. So a lovely 8-page booklet as well on it. Now I have his Adam and Eve album, which is really good. I have that on vinyl. I also have Shag Tobacco, but I only have that on CD. I don't think it ever got a vinyl reissue, so Gavin, if you are listening or watching to this, please reissue it for everyone so that we can all enjoy it on the format for which it was intended to be heard. Okay, lads, that's really it. Before I go, I just want to say one final thing, and that is a big hi to Blake, that's Verts DB. I've been missing your videos, Blake, to a big degree. I've picked up some VCLT for you, and this is one of the pieces that I have been looking for quite an amount of time. It's Louis Stewart and Peter End, a jazz duo. Louis Stewart is an Irish jazz guitarist. This is a free album, very free jazz throughout side 2 of it. I think you would like it. I showed my copy of it a while back last Christmas, and you had indicated that you liked it, so I have been looking for one of them for you. I finally found one, and this will be on its way to you shortly. So take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. Go on the poo!